What's up, YouTube? How's it going today? Niwa here. Today we're going to go over Poloma and her Battlerites and a couple loadouts that you can run with her. The Psycho Bomb. Let's get started. Her first Battleright is Dark Souls. Damage dealt by Soulbind increases to 50% from 30%, and the range of Soulbind is increased by 20%. Initially, I thought this Battleright is actually pretty good, just because of some changes to Wolf, right? So the problem is I think it actually breaks after a certain damage threshold, and it's kind of hard to see like the soulbind value that you get from it. And Paloma has a lot of good rights, so once a character has a lot of good rights, it's even like a mediocre right or like an above average right needs to have a lot of like consistent value to replace other ones. Shimmering Bond, healing shared by Spirit Link increases to 70% from 50%. This is a great right for threes, especially. You M1 your teammates in the beginning of the round before they venture off into the unknown, and that gives you that Shimmering Bond Spirit Link. That way, if your melee is in the back lines where you can't reach them, but the link is still established, you just heal your guy right next to you, and the other guy will get some healing at least. It's a good right. I like it. Into the Realm, other side grants 6 additional healing and cooldown is reduced by 1 second. The 6 additional healing is obviously like, okay, cool. I like it. But the CDR reduction is what you get it for. 1 second doesn't seem like that much, but in this game, it's pretty fast paced. Like 1 second CDR definitely saves your life a lot. So into the Realm, good right, I like it. Soul Theft, moving through an enemy during other side deals 8 damage and heals you for 8 health. I don't think I've ever gotten this right. Maybe if there's like triple melee or something, you can get like value from it. But you never want to use your other side, especially in threes. You never want to use your other side to like, oh, I'm gonna move through this guy to get 8 damage. That's how you die. Use your other side to position yourself appropriately for like the next cooldown trade, or you use it to get that healing on your teammate, right? So, like I guess you get it for the 8 health on your teammate because you could always see value from that. But there's just better rights. Spectre, other side turns the target invisible for 1.5 seconds. This is a right that I feel like you'll never see the value in the scoreboard, but I feel like this is a must pick for Paloma. I guess there's certain matchups where it wouldn't be, but most of the time I would just get it. When you don't have invisible other side, it's really easy to track where you're going. So if I'm playing Ashka and I see a Paloma other side without invis, I can see her path, right? And then I can just throw a Q on where I think she's gonna come out of the other side, because you can guess like the timing when someone's coming out of the other side. So it's really easy to track. When you are visible in your other side, people can position themselves while you're in other side based on where you are, because they know where you are. But when you're invisible, you're able to go on the other side and then position yourself, and then people can't react to that positioning until they see you, right? So there's that time that you're buying yourself as well. Spirit Walker, other side movement speed is increased to 50% from 40%, and duration is increased by half a second. I like the movement speed increase, but it's really only 10%, so it's not that much. And the duration increased. There's not a lot of times where I feel like I'm ever in maximum other side duration. Most of the time, I other side myself to dodge, or I other side my teammate, but I other side to dodge incoming damage, right? I move to where my teammate is, or to a better position, and then I cancel it. You cancel it, you get that heal, because there's no point in just staying in other side, when you're safe already, right? So a lot of time you just cancel it. That half second doesn't actually give you, it's hard to get value from that. Especially if you have move speed increase, you're going to get to where you need to go sooner. So I don't think it synergizes very well. Ghostly Strike, Spirit Guide, deals 6 bonus damage, knockback force is increased by 60%. This one's okay. I think you pick it in certain matchups. I really like it versus Rook. Because if he charges in, you space him, right? If you space him during his charge, he's not going to get to you. And he has nothing left to get onto you. So that just negates any pressure that he has. If he gets on you and you space, it's the same thing, right? If you're trading your space for his space, he's going to always, like, come out behind. There's also other champions you can use it for. I think Raygon is a good example. He spaces in, you knock him back. He has to M2 inefficiently or R to get back to you. So yeah, I think it has its uses, but not in my cookie cutter or like base build. I think it's very niche. Phantasm, ally affected by Spirit Guide takes 40% less damage, and enemy affected by a Spirit Guide takes 25% more damage. You basically get this one for the 40% damage reduction. That is insane. This is like half, 45% of the reason why Poloma Vresh is so good, because Vresh is pretty immobile to begin with, and you just M1 him in the back. And if someone goes on him, you space him, and then you M1 him in the back, and he's not going to take like any damage. Like 40% damage reduction is insane. Use it as another defensive ability for your teammates. Think of it as like an infest on like a pestilence, right? You space your teammate, they take less burst if they're about to get bursted down. If you don't have anything else, I think it's just good overall. Such a good right. Vengeful Spirit, warping the Spirit Guide resets the cooldown of Spirit Rift. So you Q, and then you space, you travel to your space, you can Q again. I think it's really, really good versus melee. It kind of like negates some of the mind games that happens, right? If melee just jumps on you, you just Q right away, right? And there's a 50-50. They're either gonna, I don't even know if there's a mind game, right? They're either going to press an ability right away. Like, Palomas don't Q, good Palomas don't Q right away. And they're going to panic away, and you win, right? You just win the trade, and you win the pressure trade. If they don't press anything, then you space away. And, right. So they wasted their space to get on you in the first place. And now you just spaced away. And if they try to get on you again, they're using another CD. And then you have the actual Q mind game that you can use. So I think Vengeful Spirit is like really annoying for any melee matchup in the game. It's really good. Soul Essence Spirit Rift cooldown is reduced by 1 second and is further reduced by 1 second for each enemy that triggers panic. I think this is okay, but you might as well just go with Vengeful Spirit. It kind of has like a snowball effect, right? Like if a champion is already getting triggered by the panic, that's a win. You don't need like the CDR reduction because your CDs are back up and ready to go, right? I think you'd be much better with just getting Vengeful Spirit than this one. Spiritual Wind, Spirit Rift increases your movement speed by 40% for 3 seconds. This one synergizes extremely well with Vengeful Spirit, and I think you can get it, without Vengeful Spirit as well. Just pressing your Q gives you a movement speed by 40 seconds. So you just got to make sure that when you have that buff, you're actually using it. A lot of times I'll Q or someone will Q it, and then I'll just hold M1 down, and M1 slows your movement speed. So you're not taking advantage of that Battlerite. But it's just like another thing, like Paloma's all about, her Q interaction and the Q matchups and the Q mind games. And so if you're not landing it, it feels really bad and you get punished super hard. And so this is just a way to kind of mitigate you not landing the panic or the panic not proccing, right? You Q and it doesn't proc, but at least you have that move speed to try to run away, So you can always see value out of that. Affection, Ghost Wolf returns to you after the final attack, granting you 5% energy and 12 health. They changed it recently where the wolf will always come back to you unless it misses its bounces. So if I hit something and it it's going to bounce to the enemy, but the enemy uses a movement spell and dodges it. Usually it's on accident. It won't come back to you, but if it hits all its bounces, it'll always come back to you, even through a wall. So it's just like a nice... The energy gain is nice, but I don't think Paloma's ever really had energy gain problems. But it's good for the health, right? Because Paloma doesn't actually have a lot of self-heal. So let's say like a Freya or like a Shifu is on you, or like a Croak. You can wolf them, and the wolf will 99% of the time just bounce back and hit you for that 12 health. So you'll at least get that 12 health back, and you get the damage into them. Obviously, you're trading M1s as well. So it's a nice way to win like mini trades, I guess. And then just like the health and gain is always good. Dire Wolf, the first Ghost Wolf hit inflicts a 1 second root. It's okay. It's not better than the other two though, so I don't think it's ever picked. Maybe in a specific matchup, or if you're trying to do something specific with that root, but it only affects the first person hit, not the bounces. Silver Fang, Ghost Wolf range increased by 20%, and the first hit deals 4 bonus damage. This right here is like one of her best rights. The 20% range increase makes it so it's you can basically hit their backline from your backline, and that was always like a thing with Paloma, right? Is that you're always playing safe with your team, but you're not putting out offensive pressure, right? Because you're behind your team. With this, it's really easy to like follow up with your team and hit a wolf. You know, hit the mid orb. That's like my favorite thing to do on Paloma, is just wolf mid orbs, or wolf pest, or pest queens, or wolf blossom trees, because you get that, you know, that guaranteed auto aim, which is always nice. So it just gives you more damage, easier to hit range targets. I think it might be a little too strong. And then if you pair it with this, you know, you'll get that energy gain and health, if you like. Pixie Dust. Pixie deals full damage and healing on mimicked soul bolts, and the cooldown is reduced by 3 seconds. Actually, I like this right, but I feel like Paloma just has so many good rights that it's hard to say, or hard to take it over something else. Like, a good Paloma, especially in 3s, knows when to use your R effectively for healing. If you need burst healing, right, you pop your R and you just pump the pixies in. Or when they see a situation where they are in range to DPS as well. So I just think those situations, well, the healing happens all the time, but usually just the base R is enough. So the Battlerites kind of redundant, but you can get value from it. Condemn. The second impact of Ancestral Spirit inflicts a 1.2 second stun. This one was always good when in the old system, just because of that tier. I think it's still good, but like I said, there's just so many good rights, and landing a Paloma stun second hit is actually, it's pretty difficult. In competitive play, obviously, when teams start playing around Paloma with grips, and it can be extremely powerful, especially like the Paloma Varesh. Like, Paloma ults the target gets slowed a little bit, but gets out, and then the Varesh like shatters him back in, you know, and he gets that stun, and you can punish super hard. That's good though. Equilibrium. The first impact Ancestral Spirit applies Spirit Link on all allies and Soul Bind on enemies. Never have I gotten that, I don't think. If you're gonna get an alt one, just get the stun one. So those are the Battlerites for Paloma. Paloma's fun. I like her. Let's look at some loadouts that you can do. So I think my cookie cutter default for Paloma is Shimmering Bond. I think if you play 2s, you don't need this, but this is for 3s. Then Phantasm. Spectre. I think these 3 I would just always get. So nice. Synergize, or I don't know if they synergize really. They just really, you get a lot of value from them. Yes, I think so. I think the rest kind of depends on what you want to do, or who you're playing against, or what's the comp. I think I would always get Silver Fang, excuse me. I guess the only time I wouldn't get Silver Fang is if it was like a super melee heavy comp, like triple melee or even double melee, or like a serious Shifu, like a counter heavy comp, because if you're throwing your wolf, they can abuse the bounce and proc it with counter. So you have to be really careful on your wolves. Same thing with Older, you can abuse that with his bubble, with his reflect. So I wouldn't. So it's not a must pick, but it's definitely a really good right in a lot of matchups. And then we'd round it out with. Again, it depends. You could go with Into the Realm like this. You'll just always get a lot of value. I think this would work in a lot of matchups with Into the Realm. I guess you get Pixie Dust in certain matchups as well. I think you can also just go, if you want to be suit. This would be like the most safe, I think, while still having utility for your team. Would be Vengeful Spirit plus Spiritual Wind. That way you have you're less prone to getting, rushed down or missing your panic and you're not dead, right? You have more options. So I think this build would be really good. But I also think this with Silver Fang, or take off Into the Realm and grab Affection as well. I think any of those would work. And I wouldn't worry too much about the efficiency. I think you can make them work in most matchups, any of those three, and just use your logic or your brain and pick what you think's the best or play style that you like the best. That's it for Paloma. I think Paloma's really strong in threes. The other side is such a strong ability. So that was her Battlerites and her loadouts. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. See you guys later. Bye.